This demo is to show the AgResult Feedlot software's feature that is called feed calls. On the left menu, you'll get a menu option named feed call steps. That's what you're looking at now. When you get here, initially the setup is for your location, you need to configure what is called the pen configuration. Each pen can have multiple feeding time slots through one given day. And then those time slots will be used to generate the daily feed calls. This pen configuration then can be updated and edited day to day as you need to make changes to the feed calls. So to start here, we're just going to add some time slots. So what you're doing here is you're basically choosing what time of the day you're feeding, which pen you're going to feed. So we're going to choose just pen 1 in this demo farm, and what ration you want to feed, and then your target pounds. So in this example, I'm just going to do 1,000 pounds for this pen in the morning. I'm going to save that, and then that adds a record to the pen configuration. So in this example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what it looks like to add a second pen for that same morning time slot. So we're going to add a new pen. We're going to choose the same morning time slot. We're going to choose pen 2. It's going to be eating the same ration, and we're going to do 1,500 pounds. So now we have 2 pens configured for the morning time slot. Now these pens also need a time slot set up for probably a second feeding in the day in the evening. So we're going to add that as well. We're going to choose evening. We're going to choose pen 1. We're going to choose that same ration, and we're going to do 1,000 pounds. And I'm going to repeat that for pen 2. And this time I'm going to go 1,600 pounds. So pen 2 is eating 100 pounds more. It's going to be called for 100 pounds more in the evening, whereas pen 1 is eating 1,000 in the morning and the evening. These are the targets. So you would basically add all of these pen configurations for all of your pens in the operation. I am going to add a third pen to show you what it looks like if you have a different ration in the morning. So if we have another morning pen, we're going to feed pen 3, except this guy is going to get this 60 ration, and this guy's going to get 2,000 pounds of it. We scroll down here. Now we have a third pen, and the ration is different than the previous 2 pens, and it's a different pounds as well. And I'm going to add an evening time slot for this guy as well. So we're going to choose evening, and we're going to choose pen 3. We're going to choose that same 60 ration, and we're going to go 2,100 pounds. We're going to save this. Now, as you can see, you also have this bunk score part, which shows you the sort of the standard industrial standard for the bunk scoring. So we have 0, half, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then they're described here. This allows you to score the bunks, save the score for a bunk, then use that number to adjust these pen configurations day to day. So in the morning, if you come in and you score all of your bunks, they'll all be scored separately. So you'll be able to see the score and then adjust the time slots accordingly. So if this guy scored a half, we have basically they did pretty well. You know, we hit it pretty good. Maybe you don't want to change this at all. You don't want to change the targets. But in the example down here, pen 2, they scored a 3, which that just means crown of feed is thoroughly disturbed. More than 50% of feed delivery remaining. Probably means that if you're scoring in the morning, that the evening feeding was maybe a little too heavy. So if you wanted to, you would come in here and you're going to adjust this to be, let's say, 1,300 pounds. And I just went down by 200 pounds in this example, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to go down by 300 pounds in the evening. We're going to save that. And then there's your new targets, 1,300 and 1,300. So this is going to be basically how you manage like what is going to be called for all your pens in a given day. Once you're good, so in this example, there's only 3 pens. Obviously, if you have more pens, this is going to be take a little bit more time to set up. But in this example, just to keep it concise, this is what we're going to work with. Your next step is then going to be to go to the feed calls tab at the top here, number 2. It'll show you your current date, and at the beginning of your day, it'll say no feed calls have been created for this date. The big blue button is how you generate your feed calls for today. That button then uses the pen configuration that we just set up to build your feed calls. So we'll go ahead and do that. Here are your feed calls. So this is what was generated from your configuration, from what you set up to be your targets. It groups up all of the pens that eat the same ration for each time slot and gives you one feed call for that time slot. So in this example, we have morning. We have 2 mornings and we have 2 evenings. If you remember pen 1 and pen 2, they both ate this 63 no chips ration. So pen 1 and pen 2 are here in this feed call, this green feed call. Your left one was pen 3. Remember, we had a different ration for pen 3 in the morning. So that's what that guy is. That is only going to feed 1 pen. And then rinse and repeat. The pink boxes are the same story for the evening time slot. The first one here is pen 3 only is eating 2,100 pounds, and then the fourth pink square here is pens 1 and 2 eating this shared 63 no chips ration 2,300 pound target. Now in each of these boxes we have a create load button, and in each of these boxes we have a pencil button. The pencil button will allow you to edit this feed call after it's been generated. If you realize you need to tweak this, you need to change the ration, or you need to change the target. If you feel like you want to add more feed, you can edit this and save this. This will save just this feed call that you're looking at here, and the custom one that you see highlighted in orange. This just tells you that that this is only changed here, and if you would like this to be changed tomorrow, when tomorrow's feed calls are generated, you need to go edit the pen configuration to have the target, if you want this to be done tomorrow automatically. But in this example, this is just going to be changed for today, this custom feed call, and we change the target pounds to 2,500. That will then let we're going to transition to the create load button. So the create load button will do just that. It'll drop you into this new screen. At the top, you can notice we're on the loads tab now, and this gives you the options of the 2 pens that are in this feed call. So you can choose to split this up if you'd like to, depending. Obviously, this is a small batch. We have 2,500 pounds or 2,300 pounds. But in the case that maybe this is 20,000 pounds and you can't mix 20,000 pounds in your mixer, you need to only mix 10 at a time, you can adjust this and you can decide, I'm going to feed pen 2 first, and then I'm going to come back later on and build a separate feed call or feed load for the separate pen. So we're going to change this to 1,000. We'll do that as an example. So I'm basically saying here, I'm going to feed pen 1 this ration from this feed call, but I'm only feeding pen 1. And so because I have a target for that pen specifically of 1,000, we're going to change this target pounds to 1,000. Down here then is your commodities that is going to make up that 1,000 pounds, and you can hit continue. This then starts your mix, and if you notice here on the left where the mix tab is highlighted, that's because that's where we're at now. We are mixing a feed load. It's in mixing status. This is the 63 no chips ration, and we're targeting 1,000 pounds. So I'm going to jump back to, we're not going to continue through the mixing at this point, but I'm going to jump back to the feed call steps, and then I'm going to go back to the feed calls, and we're going to see here that we now have a button in this morning time slot that says view 1 load. We can view that load, and this will show you that load that we had just created. This is the morning time slot feeding pen 1 only. If you remember, we only selected pen 1 of 1,000 pounds. This then lets you jump back into that mix if you'd like to continue that. And we're going to jump back, and now we're going to create a second load. So in the example I said, we have a big feed call. We can't mix it all in one load. This allows you to create 2 loads for the same call, and this time we're going to feed pen 2. So we're going to go ahead. This now just created a second load for that same feed call, and we're going to again skip it again. We're just going to show you this here. The target's 1,300 pounds, and I'm I'm going to go back to the feed call steps and then the feed calls, and I'm going to show you that now we have view 2 loads. If I view this, I now have 2 mixing feed call loads mixing, one for pen 1, one for pen 2. This then lets you can feed these out separately, and we're going to do that now. We're gonna mix this first feed call. So we're going to just go through here, and I'm going to do it perfectly just for simplicity. So that's the mix, and now it's telling us to deliver feed to pen 1, and scale is going to reach 0 at the end of that pen. And then here's your completed feed load. Now I'm going to go back to the feed call steps, and I'm going to show you the feed calls. I'm going to show you what this looks like. Now we can see here this progress bar is 1,000 out of 1,000 for pen 1. This keeps track of each pen's delivery for a specific feed call to tell you when you're basically done, when you've reached your max. This might be helpful if a pen requires more weight than you can mix, and you have to hit that pen twice. This will keep track of what you have left for each pen. So I will kind of show you what that looks like here. So we're going to continue this pen 2's loads. We're going to view the loads. If you can see, this left one is complete. That's one we just did. The right one is still mixing. We're going to mix this, and we're going to actually go way under. We're going to do about 50%, just sort of as an example. Made a mistake there. I'm going to go back. All right, so now we're going to feed out. It's 1,008 pounds. I'm going to go, now this is a completed load. We're going to jump back to the feed calls. And now we'll see here that because I shorted that mix, we have only 78% was delivered to that pen 2. So we're going to go and we're going to create a new load for that guy. So it can tell me that I have 292 pounds remaining for that pen to hit the target 1,300, right? So we're going to only choose pen 2. If you wanted to, you could feed pen 1 again. There's no reason you can't go over the target, but it's detected here that you've already fed them what you targeted. So it's helping you by trying to tell you what you should, what's remaining. So again, I'm just going to do this. Actually, I'm going to go a little over for each of these commodities. Just so that we go over target. So that one's complete now. We're going to go back to the feed calls, and I'm going to show you that this guy ate 103%. So you fed him a little over, and it all is tied back to that pen. So that's the example for a feed call with multiple pens. And then you can obviously create loads for all these other time slots. So if it's still the morning, we'll feed this guy out. Back to the feed calls. Now that feed call is complete. Now I'm not going to do the evening time slots because I think that would just be duplicating my demo, but if we jump back to pen configuration, if you look here at the morning time slot, since we fed out all the time slots in the morning, and now you can come here and you can see there's history. This will show you for this time slot for this pen the last 7 days of feedings. So it'll show you each morning feeding for this pen, and it'll show you your target. It'll show you your actual. So we'll give you a record, just so that when you're editing this configuration. So for this example, pen 2, we have 1,300 pounds was our target. Remember, because of this, we fed a little over. If we scored a 1 in the morning, we can look at this. A 1 means thin, uniform layer of feed across bottom. That's pretty good. So, I mean, I don't think you'd want to adjust this much. It'd be obviously up to the to the farmer's decision. But this will give you a good record to be like, oh, we're scoring a 1 and we fed 1328 today. Maybe you'd really want to do 1350 to try to keep it rolling. And then so all of these will have a history, and these will be specific to what was delivered to that pen in that time slot. So I'll let you adjust this configuration. So that is the long and short of it. The feed call feature within AgResult Feedlot software.